Hi, this is John Nieters. I'm a doctor of acupuncture and oriental medicine, but I'm not here for that purpose today. My purpose today is to share with you some ideas about Tai Chi and Qigong to help you improve your immune system and give you something to do if you're sheltering at home during this COVID-19 pandemic. So I started doing Tai Chi and Qigong in about 1972. I had some very serious health problems. I had 2 different surgeries the doctors wanted to do on me. And I met my first Tai Chi instructor at that time who completely changed my diet, gave me herbs, and it's been, how long is that? Almost 50 years. And I'm 69 years old. And I didn't have either of those surgeries, and I don't have either of the problems that were associated with them. And I attribute being alive actually to doing Qigong. Knock on wood, I haven't missed a day of work from illness in 37 years. And again, I can only attribute that to my Qigong because I don't have particularly good habits outside of that. So to make a quick distinction, I just want to do an introduction today. And then the next time we meet, I'll start you doing the set. But in some ways, the introduction is the most important part. I've taught Tai Chi since the middle 1980s, both from my teacher, Master Peter Ralston, and then in my own school, Bodhisattva Healing Arts. And I've seen a lot. I'm talking hundreds and hundreds of people come in to the space that I was teaching and had been practicing Tai Chi incorrectly for decades. So there is, although it's a very slow-moving art and it looks like it should be really easy, it is easy. However, it's critical that you align to the principles of Tai Chi. 1, that's where the power comes from. But 2, if you don't, you're subject to a lot of injuries. If you do it correctly, there are no injuries. So I want to talk about some of those things before we get into the actual set. Now, I'm going to be intermingling Tai Chi principles and moves with some Qigong sections. Tai Chi means supreme, or Tai Chi Chuan actually, means supreme, undifferentiated, absolute fist, basically. Again, it's from characters into English and nothing fits quite right, but it was actually devised as a very, very powerful fighting art. My teacher, Peter Ralston, was the world martial arts champion in 1978. He was the first Caucasian to go to China and win that tournament, and he was primarily a Tai Chi fighter. So it is a very powerful art. It actually has saved me several times, not in martial arts situations, but I was hit by a car in a crosswalk. I had no injuries whatsoever. I have been with other people where they slipped and fell on ice. I didn't fall. I did take one really bad fall and came out of it almost unscathed. So those are things that are really valuable. According to Duke University studies, Tai Chi is the best exercise to prevent falling and also the best exercise to get over fear of falling. And as you get older, and if you are older, you realize how significant that plays in your life, or what role that plays in your life. So we want to do Tai Chi for that. It also has Qigong energies built into it. So I tend to be kind of lazy and I want as much bang for my buck as I can get it. So meditation is incredibly wonderful. Tai Chi is a meditative art. Balance, having some ability to escape danger, very important. Tai Chi has that in it. Qigong, the ability to master your vital life force and your energy so that you can heal yourself without having to resort to other methodologies, also in Tai Chi. So that's why we're going to go over this. Now, some of the things are pure Qigong, and that means really mastery of the Qi or refinement of the Qi. And we'll go over specific exercises that should be taught, in my opinion, along with Tai Chi, but usually are not. So we're going to do all of those. Now, a couple of really simple principles that I'm going to want you to remember, and I'm going to remind you probably every time that you watch me, there are going to be some very simple things. Now, with Tai Chi, we want to align perfectly with gravity so that gravity is our friend. So we're not fighting gravity. For example, this head forward tilt is incredibly common in the United States. It's almost universal. One, people that are empathetic tend to lean in. So you see a lot of healthcare providers with horrible necks. Also, you've got texting and laptops. And the human head, I've been told, I've never actually checked it out, but I've been told that the human head weighs as much as a bowling ball. So if that bowling ball is even an inch or 2 inches off center, the pressure on your spine and your neck and your shoulders is enormous. So this is a good place to practice relieving that. So should feel like there's a string, or a string is good. Like there's a string pulling you up from the crown of your head. Also, you want to sink the pelvis. So the sacrum drops in back and you pull up slightly in front. So there's kind of a rolling motion there. And then feel as though there is a weight attached to the bottom of your sacrum pulling you to the floor. So if you're being pulled up from the top, pulling down from the bottom, it will help elongate, stretch, and straighten your spine. Again, very good thing, because you've got to have that spine. That's where all of your nerves are coming out of to basically run your entire body. So we want to make sure that's good. So pull up, feel gravity pulling down. Very gently, this is the second point, relax your chest. So we don't want a military style and we don't want to be crumpled, but we want our chest slightly sunken and rounded. So the arms, when they come out, will be rounded. So we don't want the arms back here where they're rigid. We always want the energy to be free-flowing and circular through this area. Then, at all times, the shoulders and elbows should be relaxed. So if you lift your hand, lift it from your wrist. Now, at some point, you might have to lift your elbow, but you never want to lift up on your shoulder like this. So all movements should be done as relaxed as possible, okay? And trust me, I've never worked with a student who was completely relaxed in their hands and elbows. And I can tell because I would hold their arm and I'd say, okay, relax. And then I'd move my hands and the arm doesn't move, okay? So we know that relaxation isn't being achieved. It's not hard to prove. So we want to keep the elbows down. We want to keep the shoulders down. Relax the waist. Now, this is a little difficult. It doesn't translate quite as we'd like it to into English. So when you ask someone where their waist is, you'll get a whole bunch of different answers. It's what my navel, it's where my belt is, it's where my hips are. Well, the Chinese, when they're talking about what gets translated as waist, they talk about the qua. And the qua is the area from the navel down to the bottom of the pelvis, that whole area. And of all the points in the body that need to be relaxed, that's number one. I'm not very stretched out. I'm 69. I haven't been stretching for a while, so I'm pretty stiff. But my qua is very relaxed, and that's why I can still do Tai Chi. So it's the single most important thing that we need to do. Now, there are a few other things I want to show you. I'm going to step over in front of the mirror. A word about movement first. In Tai Chi, there are basically 3 things you can do with your legs in terms of movement. Now, you could also kick somebody with your legs, and there are lots of other things. But basically, what you're going to do is you're either going to step in some direction, right? Or you're going to shift your weight, or you're going to turn your waist, okay? These are the most likely possibilities of what's going to happen. Now, with almost no exceptions, there are 2 exceptions. During the Tai Chi set, your weight will be more on one foot or the other, right? So there's the solid foot and the empty foot. So in this case, 90% of my weight is on the back, 10% is on the front. But there are other times when it's 80-20. At the very beginning, in what we call commencement, it'll be 50-50. But the point is, wherever your weight is, you have to be extremely conscious of. That's more important than anything you're going to do up here with your arms and doing really cute moves and stuff. What you do down here is what really counts. Golfers, there's an expression, I don't golf, but I've heard the expression, that you drive for show and you putt for dough, right? meaning you win the money by being a good putter. You get some guy that can hit the ball 300 yards. Okay, if he can't putt, he's going to lose. And it's the same thing here. There are all kinds of things you can do with your upper body. You can punch and you can slap and you can hug. But that's not where the power comes from. The power all comes from your connection to the ground. And even though you may not want to ever use this as a martial art or have it available, that's still where the power comes from in daily life, and it's what will protect you. For example, if my weight's here, that leaves me very vulnerable to falling in this direction. So I always want my weight somewhere between my two legs, right? And I want to know where that is. I want to feel my weight, where it is. And so as a practice, the best way to practice Tai Chi, you ready? All the time. Always. So I'm going to show you drills where you open a cabinet door, right? Well, you can reach up and pull on it, or you can grab the door and turn your waist. It's the same with opening your car door. It's the same with everything in life. And so when you do that effortless movement, it's almost impossible to hurt yourself. But if you tug, I've treated injuries where people have tried to pull a door open even and hurt their shoulder. So we want to eliminate all injuries. Okay. The knee should always be aligned with the toe. Always. Never comes in here. Never, I can't even put it out there. But it must be aligned with the toe. So if we're doing a move that calls for you to turn and your toe doesn't turn far enough, that's fine. But don't then turn your knee farther. Leave the knee back over the foot. Also, when we shift the weight, many schools will say, don't let your knee go past your toe. At the Cheng school, and my way of teaching, which I didn't found it, that's my teacher, Peter Ralston, but in training, we don't let the knee come past the foot. And the reason is power comes from burying your weight into that foot. If you do this as you're moving forward, then this is acting as a brake. And so those ligaments and tendons, if you do this too often, you'll damage them. Okay? So that's a few other guiding principles. So when we start doing postures, there are 3 things I want you to do before you start doing the actual Tai Chi set every day. 1 is be aware of your breath. Breath should be relaxed. It should be into what we call the lower dantian. We'll get more into detail about that. But if you put your thumbs at your navel, it's right where your index fingers make that triangle. That's the lower dantian area. It's an area, not a point. And so you want to guide your breath there. 2nd, awareness. So when you're doing Tai Chi, soften your vision. Don't stare at anything. Feel the area with your feeling attention beside you. Feel the area behind you. Feel the area above you. Feel everything. Just an open field of awareness, which, by the way, is the most important thing for body security and self-defense. And then 3, feel the ground. Where is my weight? So bag, breath, awareness, ground. And that's how we'll start every session. So we will have a site where you can ask questions. And so send your questions. There should be thousands of them. I mean, I can work with one student doing a private lesson and get 50 questions in one session. So send us your questions. We'll be happy to answer most of them. We may not get to all of them, but please contact us and we're happy to be here for you. Thank you.